I just got back from Arctic Finland. It was an absolutely amazing trip, very tough and challenging, but it was unbelievable and an unforgettable experience. That video did really well and I had loads of people asking about the gear that I used. I did do a video about the setup, but that didn't include the clothes that I wear, the camping gear that I use, so I'm going to run through that with you now. Very quickly, I do an annual bikepacking gear video in January for all the stuff I use all year, and in that I specifically say I don't use all of this gear on all of my trips, but in this video, everything that I'm going to be talking about, bar maybe one or two things, are things that I use on every single winter bikepacking trip without fail.
Let's start with the bike, and I only really use one now, and it's this, the Sonder Frontier. It's an aluminium hardtail with 27.5 inch wheels and 3 inch tyres, and it's been tried and tested all over the world now, and I really love it. People often ask if I use spikes, and to be honest I don't really, I just run my tyres at a lower pressure. For my bikepacking bags I use a Topeak MTX trunk bag, an Alpkit Stingray frame bag, and at the front I have a Topeak Tetra rack which is clamped onto the suspension. Which means all in all I can carry a lot of stuff on this bike if I want to. But I have found that by loading the bike with this massive 65 litre dry bag, it made it a little bit difficult to control, and I was carrying loads of stuff, making the bike extremely heavy, especially when trudging through deep snow. So this year I decided to try something new. I brought my Tula Chariot Cross trailer with me, and I even added some ski attachments so it's so easy to use in the snow. The benefit of this is I can carry way more stuff and it takes all the weight off the bike and puts it behind, meaning it's so much easier to control the bike, and I have plenty of space so I don't have to skimp on just taking the absolute bare essentials, which is always a bit of a gamble in my mind when I go to places like this. Let's have a look at the lights that I use, because there's a lot of riding in darkness. I use Redshift arc lights on the back of the bike, and these are superb even in freezing conditions. And my front light is a Gasiron Raptor, which is an absolute beast. I have a couple of spare Alpkit Bosun lights that I also take just in case the other ones fail, but otherwise they've been really solid. Moving on to the clothes, I wear Gore-Wear bib tights on my legs, which are fleece lined, so they are incredibly warm by themselves, but I do have another layer which I'll run through. I always carry a couple of fleecy base layers, and on top of that I wear another merino wool baggy base layer to keep the heat in. And on top of that I have a Gore-Wear fleece which has these massive pockets in, which is where I tend to store my electronics now to keep them warm. For windproof layers I actually use my summer waterproof jacket. This is a Gore Endure jacket, but it's not warm enough by itself, so over that I use an Alpkit Definition, which is a mountaineering jacket and incredibly tough. And if I simply can't get warm, I have this Alpkit Phantom, a very thick down jacket, which is like wearing a sleeping bag. But usually I don't need that, and the layers I have are perfect for riding. Very important is gloves, and I use these Alpkit Gabbro gloves, which are ski gloves, and they are the warmest gloves I've found. They did a superb job even in minus 25 degrees in Finland, but I did reach the limit there, and my hands did start to get cold towards the end, so I think I'm going to look into some pogies this year. Over my face I wear a merino wool buff, and I have a pair of Oakley goggles, which are superb at keeping the cold out of my eyes and stopping them from freezing. And finally I have a thin rab hat that goes underneath my helmet. I have a pretty big head, so finding stuff that fits is always a challenge. And the final layer over my legs are these Gore-Tex Endure waterproof trousers, and they are so good at keeping the cold out. People are often surprised I just use these Shimano MT3 mountain bike shoes with these Smartwool hiking socks, and over the top I have these Alpkit Epic overshoes. I don't have any winter boots, but it's probably something I should look into, so if you have any recommendations, stick them in the comments. For my off-the-bike clothes, I always carry a couple of fleeces and this Alpkit Halogen ultralight down jacket, a couple of thermal base layers, and these North Face hiking trousers. And finally these North Face mules, which are so warm, unbelievably warm. They do look a bit daft in bright yellow, but I like having warm feet. And now onto the camping gear. I always take this 65 litre dry bag, whether it's on the front of the bike or in the trailer, and in it I carry all this: my Alpkit Kangri 2-person 4-season tent, which is very heavy but very robust. I even used it on a frozen lake in Finland. My North Face Inferno sleeping bag, suitable for minus 40, which is so toasty. I really don't need anything else to go in it, but I always carry a thermal sleeping liner from sea to summit, just as a bit of an insurance policy and an extra bit of warmth. I'm back to using my summer mat even in the winter. This is the Thermarest Neo Air X Lite, which is brilliant in the summer, but I did have a Flextail sleeping bag which was more suited to winter, which annoyingly tore, and Flextail really weren't helpful at getting me a replacement, so I'm not recommending people buy that anymore. For cooking, I either use my MSR Pocket Rocket micro stove and this Stanley cooking pot, but I always bring my Firepot food pouches, or I use this Jetboil, which is normally extremely fast. But in the winter, the issue arises with the fuel not being that efficient. When gas gets cold, it takes ages to cook, so a better alternative is this, the Featherlight 700 stove from Wildside Adventures. It's an alcohol stove, so it's much more efficient in these cold conditions. But the reason I haven't been taking it is getting hold of alcohol methylated spirits abroad can be a challenge, and you can't take it with you on the plane. I also always have this Lixada folding wood stove just as a backup. It's a really good option if you want to start a little fire and keep it mostly contained. Usually I don't use it, but it's nice to have just in case. And I have 1 or 2 firelighters to get it going. I do still use the Flextail head torch. That hasn't put a foot wrong, ideal for when I get to a campsite really late, and the battery life is excellent. I still use a bladder in the frame bag, and the challenge here is stopping this tube from freezing in really cold conditions. I have a magnet on the bars where I clip it onto, but despite blowing the water back into the bladder and carrying a hot flask and a hot water bottle, it still sometimes freezes, so I still haven't found the perfect solution here. My electronics are broadly the same. I have the Garmin 1040 Solar and my Anker 20,000 mAh battery. All I need to remember is to put them in my clothes when I stop to keep them warm, and that way they keep working for much longer.
So that's my winter bikepacking gear, and I can already hear the comments. People saying, that's far too expensive. You're absolutely right. The gear that I'm using here is expensive, but my view is simple. If I'm going somewhere where it's really tough and I could potentially die, I want to have the best possible kit so that I'm comfortable and I enjoy it. It's very important if you're going to these dangerous places to be prepared, and that's exactly what I've done. You don't have to go to the extremes that I've done though to go on a winter bikepacking trip, and you can get cheaper alternatives. But that's my reasoning for going out and buying the expensive stuff, is so that I can keep it for a long period of time, it's not going to break, and it does the job, keeps me safe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.